clearly now. Nothing gonna bring me down. I got my head held high, I'm on my way, and I'm following the signs to my happy place. I'm walking in the light of a brand new day, and I'm right where I belong, in my happy place.
Good evening and welcome to the Coon Rapids City Council meeting for Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. We're going to be starting with the pledge, but when we first rise, if we could just take a moment to lift up John and Yvette Hoffman in thanksgiving that they're recovering, and we lift them up for their continued recovery, and we just lift up the Hortman family at this time of extreme loss. So we'll start with a moment of silence, and then we'll do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please call the roll.
Councilmember Griscoviac.
Here.
Councilmember Butler.
Here.
Councilmember Novak. Councilmember Geisler.
Here.
Councilmember Armstrong.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Mayor Cook.
I'm here.
One absent, Novak.
Thank you. Why don't we adopt this evening's agenda?
Motion to adopt the agenda, Mr. Mayor?
Second.
Motion by Carlson and a second by Geisler. Is there any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And the agenda is adopted. And we're actually going to start with the Coon Rapids Women of Today. We're going to start with their presentation first. And I will say that when you were calling the roll, I was expecting a different voice. When you said Councilmember Geisler, I went, oh, yeah.
Yep.
The other one.
Welcome back.
Thank you very much. And I was saying I changed jobs, and I've now joined this wonderful organization, and we're going to share a little bit about us today pretty quickly, and then you'll get to meet us all, and we'll get our proclamation.
Perfect.
So who are we? We're a big group. Right now, we had a good growth, so we're at 27 members right now, all different members of the community. What we do is we volunteer. We volunteer at times for charities and seminars. We do anything that we can to support our community, but we want to better ourselves and have fun at the same point in time. So I was going to share a little bit of the kinds of things that we do. We've supported ACBC food packing. We've done our parties. We did the chili challenge. We've done karaoke nights. We did a friendship cleanup. We helped pack period kits. We made tie blankets that went to the CRHS needs closet. We did some outings at the conservatory. We helped with, Alexandra House. We support wildlife rehabilitation. We had our police officers come and we got to meet Gizmo. We have a park in the city that we've adopted, and so we did our cleanup day. We worked on the Hot Chocolate 5K. We had an event where everybody got to learn floral arrangement. So it's service and having fun. But the big thing we want to share is on Saturday, July 12th, we are working with Hope for Youth. And this is the Pack the Pantry Summer Challenge. We'll be at the Riverdale Village between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So it's the parking lot that's kind of right by Vitamin Shop, kind of behind the old JCPenney, in front of Buffalo Wild Wings. So right there on Main Street, and want to be collecting food and hygiene items. And so if you go to anything for Hope for Youth, or if you look at our Facebook post, you'll be able to see, and we'd love to see people come and help us support and collect all of these donations. Okay? If you want to get engaged, one of the things that I really thought was heartfelt from the Hortman kids were, do something. And that's one of the key things that I love about this group is we do things for our community. So we'd love to see people come and join us. We meet here at the Civic Center down by the main rooms it's the first Monday of the month. So July 7th will be our next meeting. We start with a social hour and then have our meeting and our program. So we'd love to see people come and join us, and now we can get our proclamation so we can have Coon Rapids Women of Today Day.
Awesome. The Pack the Pantry coming up on July 12th. Is that like a drive-through for people to
Yes.
make, so they can just drive through and drop off
Drive
things?
through, drop things off, yep, and then we'll be collecting them from their cars, and then we'll pack everything up and bring it over to Hope for Youth.
Awesome.
So again, food and hygiene items will be collected.
All right. Before we do the proclamation, does anybody have any questions? All right, then I'll come down out front, and whoever's coming up, I'll meet you in front of the dais.
Come on, everybody.
All right. I'll back up a little bit if we get a little more, there we go.
Yeah, run you over.
This is not your first day running that thing. A lot of proficiency there. All right, well, I have a proclamation for the Coon Rapids Women of Today Day. Whereas, the Coon Rapids Women of Today chartered as part of the Women of Today and United States Women of Today chapter February 29th, 2016. And whereas, Women of Today believe that through us, great lessons can be learned, worthy deeds performed, and a hand of fellowship extended to millions of women everywhere. And whereas, the Minnesota Women of Today and the Coon Rapids Women of Today are dedicated to actively promoting such public awareness and service programs such as Alexandra House, Hope for Youth, ACBC Food Shelf, and Feed My Starving Children, as well as participating in Snowflake Days. And whereas, the Minnesota Women of Today and the Coon Rapids Women of Today provide personal enrichment and leadership training for members of all ages and demographics through our belief in the advancement through equity and inclusion. And now, therefore, I, Jerry Cook, Mayor of the City of Coon Rapids, on behalf of the Coon Rapids City Council, hereby proclaim June 17th, 2025 to be Coon Rapids Women of Today Day in the City of Coon Rapids, proclaimed the 17th day of June 2025. You don't have a lot of your day left. You better get going. Am I giving that to you? All right. And then I'll let you introduce yourself. Peter's always ready to go.
Yeah. So, hi, I'm Jenny Geisler.
I'm Beth Clifford.
Stacy Gross.
Tammy Ninneman.
Jenny Orr.
Bethany Schwer.
Lori Mush.
And Jean Wayne.
All right. Is there anything else you want to share, or did we cover it all in the presentation?
I think we covered it all, but would love to see everybody join us. So,
All right.
July 7th, come on over.
July 7th is the meeting, and July 12th is the, you were going to correct her, weren't you? And July 12th is pack the pantry.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So you can join.
Well, I noticed when we had the chili competition, there was a guy handing out the chili for you. And I thought, well, okay. Your husband, all right. All right, well, thank you very much then. Thank you. All right. Next item on our agenda is to approve the minutes of the June 3rd meeting.
Move approval. Second.
Motion by Geisler and a second by Butler. Is there any discussion or corrections? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Now, I'm just going to get my, sorry. And our consent agenda, we have 5 items on our consent agenda. And the first one is accept a right of entry agreement with the University Avenue Rental Townhomes LLC. The right of entry agreement will allow the city to enter onto the property for the purpose of maintaining the water main system, including hydrant flushing and exercising of the gate valves. Such an agreement is standard for a new multifamily residential development. So we're looking to accept the attached right of entry agreement with University Avenue Rental Townhomes LLC for the University Avenue Rental Townhomes development. Next item on the consent agenda is to adopt Resolution 25-77, declaring participation with the Council on Local Results and Innovations State Performance Measurement Program. Cities that choose to participate in the program in 2025 are eligible for a reimbursement of 14 cents per capita from the state, or approximately $8,900 for Coon Rapids. And the city has developed the materials necessary to participate in the program. And if the city's participation is approved by council, staff will submit the data for the measures and the attached resolution to the Office of the State Auditor, and the city will also report the data on the city website in order to comply with an additional program requirement. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 25-77, declaring the city's participation with the Council on Local Results and Innovations Performance Measures Program for 2025. The next item on our consent agenda, which is actually item 5, is to approve the waiver of certain fees for the 4th of July celebration. Coon Rapids Firecracker Races, Coon Rapids Fire Relief Association, and the Coon Rapids North Star Lions have requested waiver of the Carnival Fireworks Display, 4th of July Parade, and 5K run and walk fees for the annual 4th of July celebration. Historically, these fees have been waived for this community event. While the clerk's office has the authority to issue the licenses, any fee adjustments must be approved by the council. So we're looking to approve the waiver of the Carnival Fireworks Display, 4th of July Parade, and 5K Run Walk license fees for the 2025 4th of July celebration. Fourth item on our consent agenda is to receive the schedule of electronic payments. The staff has prepared the attached list of electronic payments processed since the last council meeting. So we're looking to receive the schedule of electronic payments from May 29th, 2025 to June 11th, 2025. And then the fifth and final item on our consent agenda is to adopt Resolution 25-79, calling for a public hearing to vacate the drainage and utility easements 10701 Butternut Street. On May 6, 2025, the council approved the final plat to create a 34-unit rental townhome project. In order to construct the townhomes, the applicant is requesting the city vacate the entirety of the drainage and utility easements on the site. New drainage and utilities easements will be dedicated on the University Avenue Townhomes plat. The staff requests the council adopt a resolution to begin the process of vacating the drainage and utility easements, and a vacation petition may be initiated by the city council upon adoption of a resolution by a 4/5 majority. Resolution 25-79 calls for a public hearing on July 5th, 2025 for council to even consider the vacation. So we're looking to adopt Resolution 25-79, which calls for a public hearing on July 15th, 2025 for a vacation of drainage and utility easements. And that is our consent agenda.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Butler.
I move we adopt the consent agenda as listed.
Second. Motion by Butler and a second by Geisler. Is there any discussion or questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. Next, item 8. We're going to be holding a public hearing for a grant application for the United States Department of Justice and consider an MOU with the City of Fridley and Anoka County. And Assistant Chief Jacobson is here. I think you're going to give us the rundown on this.
Yes, Mayor and Council, thank you. Again, like the past several years, we've been awarded funds from the Department of Justice through their Justice Assistance Grant. This is funding that we are able to use to buy equipment items or different things that we don't normally budget for. This grant was actually awarded to us at the end of last year, and it's awarded by county. There's 2 agencies in Anoka County who received funding this year, Coon Rapids and Fridley. Fridley has declined the money in the past. However, this year we worked with Fridley to write the grant, so we are both agencies are actually getting a portion of the grant funding. Coon Rapids is, we are getting, our police department's getting $12,901, and the city of Fridley's getting $11,370 for a total of $24,271 is the total grant. Coon Rapids, we are acting as the fiscal agent for this grant. We will be using our portion of the funding to replace all of the preliminary breath tests, the little roadside testing devices in all of the squad cars. Some of our current ones are more than 20 years old. They're starting to fall into disrepair. They're needing costly repairs, so we're going to use that money to replace all of those units with a newer model, so hopefully we don't have to send as many in for repairs. Fridley is going to use the money to support their tactical medic program, sending people to training and then buying some startup equipment and supplies. As a requirement of this grant, we are required to hold a public hearing on what we intend to use the money for. And then it requires the MOU with Anoka County and the City of Fridley, even though Anoka County is not being awarded any of the funds.
Anybody have any questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Griscoviac?
I just have a question for Deputy Chief Jacobson. I remember last year when this came up, it was Coon Rapids and Fridley, and we split about the same amount. Do you know why some years it's split and others it's not? For example, why didn't Fridley go last year, but now they're part of it this year? How does that work?
So Fridley has never been a part of it. We've always kind of taken Fridley's money. That's what we have.
Let's see, how can I put this delicately?
Well, it's true. They had never applied for it in the past. This year they happened to apply for it, and we applied for it as well. In speaking with our grant manager, we learned that only one entity has to apply for it and kind of be the grant manager. And because we have experience with it and they did not, we agreed to be the fiscal agent and kind of the grant manager this year. I'm hoping next year that they will take it on if the funding is still there. And we'll alternate years, would be my hope.
Okay, interesting. So they kind of saw best practice over here in Coon Rapids and said, why aren't we doing that?
It took about 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years. Yeah. Thank you. That's all I have.
All right. And nobody wants to know what they're going to do with the old ones? I think it's interesting. Are you going to sell them or what?
Yeah, they'll go up on the auction site, and I'm sure smaller agencies who don't have the funding to buy them will purchase them. Some still do have value, so they will be sold, and the money will go back in the general fund.
Very good. All right, any other questions? Somebody want to, let's see, all right, so if there's no other questions, the first thing we need to do then is hold a public hearing on the proposed JAG grant expenditures. So we'll open the public hearing, and if anybody is here to address council in the public hearing on the proposed JAG grant expenditures. Anybody here for the public hearing on that? One more time on the public hearing for the JAG grant expenditures. We will close the public hearing. And looks like should no changes to the grant be proposed. So we're looking to approve entering into an MOU. All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Carlson.
with no grant changes to the grant being proposed, I move to approve entering into an MOU with Anoka County and the City of Fridley for the United States Department of Justice grant.
Second.
Okay, a motion by Carlson and a second by Armstrong. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? And that motion carries. And absolutely no disrespect intended at all. Is it Assistant Chief or is it Deputy Chief?
Deputy Chief, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, I'm going to try and get that right next time. Sorry, Deputy Chief Jacobson. Thank you.
Now I'm wondering, did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right. I got it wrong. All right. Item 9 is, come on, there we go. Conduct a public hearing and consider Resolution 25-78, authorizing the issuance of conduit charter school lease revenue bonds. Ms. Hanson, you want to cover this one?
I will, Mr. Mayor. Hear me. Let's see. So the city is, has been asked to be an issuer for conduit charter school revenue lease revenue bonds for Athlos Leadership Academy located in Brooklyn Park. Federal law and state statutes provide for a tool for certain 501c3s to have access to tax-exempt financing by means of the city issuing that for them. So we are asked to issue up to $26 million, most of which will be used to refinance an outstanding principal amount from bonds issued in 2015 by the city of Brooklyn Park. And they're also looking to finance deferred maintenance and improvements to the school facilities. The request was originally made to the city of Brooklyn Park, but they do not have capacity this year as they are looking to meet their $10 million bank qualified limit for new issuances. We have room available in ours as we've only used about just shy of 7.4 million this year. And the issuer the borrower is estimating that the amount of the new money will be less than that. So since this is a conduit issuance, they do not become outstanding bonds for the city. They don't count against our legal debt margin. They also do not have any impact on our credit rating. So our council is asked to hold a public hearing on this and then approve the issuance. We do have representatives from Kutak Rock is the bond attorney on this, as well as a representative from Athlos, I believe, here. So if you guys have any questions or if would like them to speak on this, they're here for that.
Okay, very good. Any questions of Ms. Hanson on this?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Carlson?
I just want to be clear on it, Ms. Hanson. This, actually, a resident just asked me about this, not this particular one, but, you know, asked me about us doing this. No risk, no cost, just helping another city out, correct?
Correct. We've had other charter schools in Coon Rapids who had approached us and we didn't have capacity before. And so the last one was Northwest Passage, I believe, and the city of Champlain Park issued that. So there's no risk to us. It's not backed by the general obligation of the city, does not become an obligation for us, doesn't impact our credit rating. And then we do get a small administrative fee for issuing it. So it actually generates a little bit of unanticipated revenue for us.
Thank you.
Very good.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Butler?
Yeah, I think just to build off of Councilmember Carlson's point, I did have residents reach out who were a little confused. You know, they see Brooklyn Park and they say, wait a minute, we're Coon Rapids. But Ms. Hanson did a great job walking through some of my questions that I had via email. And as she mentioned, it's about $50,000 of additional revenue for the city.
Nice. Yeah, and certainly this goes back and forth, because I know years ago when Epiphany did some repairs on their senior apartments, I think it was, we didn't have any capacity, and Champlain carried that one for us too, so.
Mr. Mayor?
Very good. Councilmember Griscoviac?
Just a question for Ms. Hanson, or even the city and city administration. Do we foresee any need in our city to issue these lease revenue conduit bonds for the remainder of 2025?
Councilmember Griscoviac, we don't have any plans to issue any more
No
debt
one else
this
from
year.
our city has come to
Nope.
us? Oh, okay. All right, just wanted to make sure that we had the capacity for our own city. Glad to help Brooklyn Park.
All right, any other questions? If there were no other questions, then I will open the public hearing on, I'll open the public hearing as we consider Resolution 25-78, authorizing the issuance of conduit charter school lease revenue bonds. Is anybody here to address council for the public hearing for authorizing the issuance of conduit charter school lease revenue bonds? One more time on the public hearing. We'll close the public hearing. And we've got representatives here. Do you feel a need to come up and talk to us, or do you think this is going the right direction right now? Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I'm from Kentucky Rock.
Well, you might as well, as long as you're here, you might as well come up and introduce yourself and tell us what's going on. Hi.
Mr. Mayor, I am Gina Farini from the law firm of Kutek Rock. We're serving as bond counsel on this issue. I was just going to say that Ashley did such a great job in answering questions and with her presentation. I don't have anything else to add. It's just important to remember, as already has been reiterated, this is not a pledge of the city's general obligation. You know, no tax dollars are being used for this. The bonds will solely be repaid by the borrower through the mortgage on the facility. They're pledging revenues from their lease aid that charter schools get in order to repay the debt. Doesn't count against the city's debt limit or impact the city's credit rating. So,
Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. Council, what are your wishes?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Keisler. Sorry.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 25-78, authorizing the issuance of conduit charter school lease revenue bonds for the Athlos Leadership Academy Project, Brooklyn Park, under Minnesota statutes, section 469.152 through 469.1655, approving related documents and taking certain other actions with respect thereto.
Second.
Motion by Geisler and second by Butler, I think. Is there any further discussion on this?
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Griscoviac?
I had a question. Will this issuance go toward our maximum for 2026? Even we get a fresh reset the clock at 2026 again, even though these aren't paid back?
Correct.
Okay.
Councilmember Griscoviac, yes. The $10 million limit resets for the next year.
Got it. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right. Any other discussion? We have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Next item on our agenda is item 10, to consider a development agreement with University Avenue Rental Townhomes LLC. I think we're probably looking to put our easements back in here. Mr. Patzner back there. There you are. All right.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members. I don't have a whole lot to say about this one. This is one of the first of what we're hoping to be a standard development agreement going forward for larger residential and commercial projects. Really what we're doing is just establishing the site improvements that the developer will need to put into the site, lighting, sidewalks, utilities, everything like that, and then establishing the requirement for a bond and letter of credit to ensure that if for whatever reason the project stops in the middle and the developer is unable to complete the project, that the city can use those funds to complete the project and sort of protect ourselves in that way. So this is just likely to be the standard boilerplate language for most of these types of developments going forward.
Mr. Patzner, when do we put the utility, the easements back in again?
So the easements will be put back on the property when the plat is recorded, and that'll be at the same time as the resolution for the easement vacation is recorded. So within minutes after the old easements are officially vacated, the new easements will be established.
Okay, very good. All right, anybody have any questions of Mr. Patzner on this?
Mr. Mayor.
Councilor Griscoviac.
I see that this does include development agreements for the sidewalk. One of my concerns with this was that sidewalk is going to get narrow because of the turn lane there. Is that sidewalk, are we allowing, is it going to be a standard width sidewalk when it's done?
Councilmember Griscoviac, I believe the width of the sidewalk will be standard across along University Avenue for the entire project.
Okay. That was the only question I had.
Mr. Patzner? Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Patzner. You mentioned you wanted this, or the city's prospecting this for other larger developments. Is there kind of a scale or size, or is this basically MDR, HDR developments, or, what are you guys looking forward on this?
Thank you, Commissioner Geisler. Yes, this would generally be for any development that's considered a commercial development under building code, so any multifamily residential development or commercial development. There are probably some examples of commercial developments or commercial projects that are small enough that engineering and public works staff might choose not to require a development agreement, but generally any major commercial or multifamily residential project.
And then, if I may, my follow-up to that is also, is planning going to see these? Are these coming straight to council? Are these going to get to administrative at some point? Just kind of curious what you look at since it's the first one.
My understanding is that they will generally go straight to council, and it is, required to be approved by council. So it's not something that would be able to be administrative. Maybe in the future we would include it on the consent agenda instead of as its own new business item, but it would just go straight to council.
Excellent, thank you.
And you saw what happened. You skipped past me, so he called you commissioner.
I'm so used to saying Commissioner Geisler. I apologize.
I just reverted back to my old job. So there's a lot of old jobs today.
All right, so I guess we are probably going to need a motion to approve the development agreement.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Butler.
I move that the council approve the development agreement with the University Avenue Rental Townhomes LLC.
Second.
Motion by Butler and a second by Geisler. Is there further discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. Item 11 is to consider Resolution 25-75, amending the 2025 budget and authorizing an interfund loan for boulevard tree removal. Mr. Stemwedel?
Sure, Mayor and Council. This is something that Council spoke about last in September and August last year, where we created a plan to address the rapidly declining ash trees in the city boulevards. This has been an issue related to emerald ash borer, which is an invasive species that infects the tree, and over time, the tree dies because it sort of loses its nutrients. This has been emerging in Minnesota for some years, and we have been addressing the problem through a special levy each year to remove and treat trees throughout the city. However, in the last few years, the trees have declined very rapidly. And so this time last year, a little later than that, we decided to pump some more money into our EAB fund to remove ash trees in the boulevard. And we created a multi-year plan that would help us accelerate the removal, and then once the removal is complete, kind of turn our attention to replanting those trees. Well, the good news is our city forester, Tommy Shabilla, has been able to make rapid progress since September of last year, to the point where he's getting near running out of the allotted funds that he had through both the levy and through the interfund loan that was approved in September. When we projected out last summer, we thought that the funds that we had sort of created for him would last through this year, but he's really 6 months ahead of schedule. It's not that they're more costly, it's just the contractor availability has been really good. So he's just been sending them out to neighborhoods, removing trees en masse, and getting through things quicker. So rather than asking Tommy to stop his progress, what we're asking council to do tonight is to approve another interfund loan of $550,000 that we believe, in addition to the 2026 levy, will allow Mr. Shabilla to complete removal of the remaining boulevard trees. We have about 1,600 trees left to be removed. We started with 6,700 trees, maybe 8-9 years ago when they were inventoried, when this problem emerged. And we had a little over 3,000 when we spoke to you last year. So about 1,600 left to go. We think these funds will get us through that 1,600. Then in 2027, we can use the established levy to turn our attention to replanting and additional beautification along our boulevard. So this should get us to the end. It just gets us there a little quicker. We were anticipating an additional interfund loan as part of that multi-year plan last year. This is just maybe 6 months earlier than we had expected to need it.
I think that's all good.
Yeah. Mayor and Council, if I may, actually, something that will probably come up on the next council meeting or maybe a subsequent one is we were notified this week that we're going to receive a grant from the state or Met Council, I forget which right now, I apologize, for replanting trees that were removed due to emerald ash borer. It's a $70,000 grant. So it has to be specific to a neighborhood that meets certain criteria. And so Tommy's creating a package, if you will, for a specific neighborhood for those funds. So the good news for that neighborhood will be they'll see some replanting prior to some of the other areas that have had their trees removed already. But it'll just help us in the long run get those addressed now rather than 2 or 3 years from now.
Excellent.
Yep.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Carlson?
Mr. Stemwedel? How are we doing on replanting?
It's,
Do we have
Councilmember
trees
Carlson.
to replant?
Yes. Mayor and Councilmember Carlson, the funds that we have allotted for EAB-related activities the last couple of years have predominantly gone towards removal because the trees are falling apart so quickly. If you're familiar with ash trees, once they become infected with EAB, they become very brittle and branches just start falling down if you get a wind or a rain. So frankly, they're dangerous. So we have put a vast majority of our funds toward removal. There is some funding available for replanting and treating trees. There are a number of trees, 886 trees that we're currently treating for EAB that are healthy right now, and as long as we treat them every so often, can remain healthy for quite a while. So it's not only removal, but 90% of the funds right now through 2026 will go toward removal, and then we can basically dedicate everything to either treatment or replanting, and so we should be able to catch up pretty quick.
Other questions?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Griscoviac?
You actually kind of read my mind there. I was wondering if there's any other communities, either in the state or even federally, that are getting federal or state dollars to handle this deal because it is so large. So it's nice that we're getting a little bit coming on there. And I totally wholeheartedly support this. I mean, I think we all hear from our residents. These are just really eyesores all over the city. And, you know, during our meeting here a couple weeks ago, I mentioned how we want to just keep the city looking good. So I think this will help us clean that up. I do have a comment unrelated to the passage of this particular item, and I don't know if I should bring it up now or another business, but I'll just bring it up now, because it's related. And I had a resident ask me about it, and I thought it makes sense. And I was just wondering, could we use, that Homes for Generation program, that low-interest loans for private owners if they wanted to remove their own tree, because that's really expensive. And some neighbors are saying, "Boy, my neighbor's got that big ugly tree and it's dropping in their yard and I can't afford to take it out." You know, we've got that, I guess it's the city's HRA 69,000 housing fund, the old mortgage assistance fund that we're doing those. Would it be possible to finance low interest rate loans to people that just can't afford to get that tree out of there? Something to think about. I know it's completely unrelated to this passage, so that's.
Couldn't they use the, what's the Center for something? Who does our?
That,
Environment and,
ECC.
yeah, CEE, but
CEE.
Energy and Environment, I think.
Center for Energy and Environment, because they're the ones that control or service.
Yeah.
Basically
Manage.
set up the loans.
Mayor and council, CEE administers the loan program for us. It's our dollars, our funding
Right.
that we give them the parameters for, and they handle the applications and the repayments and things of that nature.
But tree removal, would tree removal be eligible, you think, through that? or-
Not currently.
Not
I don't
currently.
believe it would be. We've explored this on the surface level in recent year or two. Councilmember Carlson has mentioned this before. It's something, if council has interest, we'd probably have to dive into and really see what level of impact we could have, because whatever number we could probably sustain within that fund, it might be difficult to know how far that would go. Is it a grant program? Is it a loan? How many of those can we give out and still sustain our other housing programs? So it's something we can explore. We just have to identify what that looks like and the terms and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But budget process is coming up, so perhaps it would be a good conversation to have this summer prior to August, or during that timeline.
Okay, very good. Councilmember Geisler?
If I may just add on that one, that might be a very interesting input from our Sustainability Commission if, tree removal is a portion of just general yard management, beautification, and other things. I know we've looked at support for bee-friendly lawns, pollinator-friendly lawns, things like that. So if there's any way to extend or connect all of that together, it would be an interesting prospect to come back with.
All right. Now, specific to this.
Okay.
Anybody have any other questions on this?
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Carlson?
Make a motion to approve Resolution 25-75, amending the 2025 budget and authorizing an interfund loan for boulevard tree removal and related activities.
Second.
Motion by Carlson, and a second by Armstrong. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And that motion carries. We're to the open mic public comment portion of the meeting. Is anybody here to address council for open mic this evening? All right, I don't have any reports on previous open mics, and we are to other business.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Butler.
I know we had the moment of silence at the beginning, but I did just want to take another minute just to acknowledge and appreciate the horrendous events from the weekend. I'm very thankful for the city manager and the police chief for keeping us informed and for protecting our elected officials on this side of the river. My thoughts, of course, are with folks in Brooklyn Park and Champlin and with the Hoffmans and Hortman family. And then the last thing I was going to say is, for folks interested, there is going to be a vigil tomorrow night in downtown St. Paul at the Capitol for both the Hortmans and the Hoffmans. Starts at 8 p.m. and it goes till about 9:30. And again, you bring your candle, bring your thoughts and prayers. And it's a time for folks to be together during a very difficult time for a lot of people. And thank you.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely horrific. Because these are not just our legislatures, these are our friends. We know these folks. We've served with them for 12 years, and some of us, and shocking. Is there other business before we move to the 4th of July? It's a tough segue.
Impossible segue.
Yeah. But we do have our 4th of July, because this is our last meeting, right? This is our third meeting, this is the third
Mayor,
week of
there'll be
June.
one just prior, but I think it makes sense to get the word out now. We'll have one on Tuesday the 1st.
Yeah, that doesn't give a lot of time.
No, not much at all.
Yeah, no, okay. I thought I had a handle on the dates here. So our 4th of July Carnival starts on Wednesday, July 2nd. There's a kind of a day of activities, and then the parade is at 6 PM Wednesday night, July 2nd. The all-class reunion is from 5 to 10 that night. Bands all 3 nights. Car show Thursday night, or Thursday. And I think the police bags tournament is Friday, maybe? Why does everybody look for Tiffany? And she's not here. She's home watching it on TV. Yeah, but there's lots going on. And then, of course, culminating with the 4th of July fireworks from the roof of Fire Station 3 on Friday night, July 4th.
Did we say firefighter bingo?
Firefighter bingo goes all 3 days.
Yep.
Is anyone running the 5K with me?
I'm not running. I'm not running.
I'll see you
I will
there,
be
though.
walking.
Or the kids' sparkler dash, maybe?
You know.
I'd have to set my coffee down, so I'm not going to do that. All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Butler.
I realized too, I forgot to mention, there is summer in the city next week.
Yes.
So there will be summer in the city next Tuesday, June 24th, from 6:30 to 8 PM, and it'll be at Lions Coon Creek Park.
That'll be a big one. Or that should be a big one. Lions Coon Creek Park, yeah. Our last week at Thorpe Park, boy, that was a beautiful night. The weather couldn't have been better.
Good turnout.
Good turnout. Ran out of ice cream, so we're getting a lot more ice cream for Lions Coon Creek Park. Did you get ice cream, Chris? You're chuckling over here.
I'm chuckling because Chief Piper works his tail off to get rid of all that ice cream every time, so.
And then just about the time he gets it all given away, then people come flocking up and say, "Where's the ice cream?"
Yep,
Yeah.
yep.
All right. Farmers markets, Wednesdays, June 18th through October 8th, 3 to 6 PM. June 18th, tomorrow, is the market kickoff. And 16th is Kids Day. August 20th is Senior Day. And September 24th is Customer Appreciation Day. Otherwise, it is every Wednesday from 3 to 6, except for probably July 2nd. I don't know if they'll do one the same over the carnival. I'm not sure. But,
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Armstrong.
just a quick flashback. I don't know what it was, but when you said other business this time around, I was expecting to hear former council member Geisler start going down the list of everything that was on.
Yeah,
She was good about having that all covered.
her replacement hasn't picked that up.
I'm still in my probationary period, you know.
All right, any other business to come before council this evening?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Motion by Carlson, second by Butler to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're adjourned.